Hey everyone, and I'm here with an epic cool layout. Well, not a layout, it's actually a canvas that I do a lot of mixed media techniques to. So strap yourself in, grab a coffee, grab a cup of biscuits or a cake or something, and enjoy the ride. So I'm just starting by layering all these texture kind of things on the canvas. So as you can see, I've got some pink tissue paper, and I'm just using some gel medium, just putting it on my side of my desk there to like a palette and putting it underneath as well as on top to seal all these texture items. So this is some kind of punchinello kind of lace kind of thing that I got from a cheap dollar shop that was in my area, and it just goes on there really lovely and adds some of that a bit of texture behind, and I actually change it up a bit later, and you'll see what I do with it when it's coming together. So as you can see, all different types of things that could give my background underneath my paint, because you can see I've got paint in my dilutions to the left there, ready to paint. So using some of this graph paper, so that's just from Office Works, that little pad. Well, it's actually an A4 size pad, but a couple of bucks, and you've got some graph paper, which is a lovely little addition to layering or mixed media or things like this. So I'm just trying to cover as much as I feel like. I don't know what I was doing when I started. Pretty much I was just thinking I have to do week 3 stencil, and it was the stack stone stencil. And yesterday when I was in Aldi shopping doing the grocery, they had 2 of these size canvases for five bucks or $4.99 or $5.99. Can't remember what it was, but I figured it was pretty cheap, and they're actually really good quality. So putting some of the gel medium down first before I put on the gel medium on top. So I've added some music paper while I was talking then, and I've got some washi. Sorry, the camera readjusts every time I put my arms in front of it, so I'm sorry if that's annoying. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it because I need to use my arms to put things on my layout. Adding some washi, and I'm just putting the gel medium on to make sure it sticks. And just trying to have a look in my stash of texture goodies, layering, whatnot, and really love that pink tissue paper. It's really, the gel medium gives it a brightness too, and obviously a glossiness. So as you can see, when you lay this tissue paper over top of that netting, that lace punchinello stuff, you can see it, goes into the dips and the grooves and adds a lovely texture. So you can imagine it'd be the same when you put paint on, etc., etc. So yeah, as I was saying before, pretty much I wasn't sure what I was going to be making, other than I knew I had to use week 3 stencil for Katie Mixed Media Group design team, and I just thought I'd see what I did when I used the canvas and see what happens. So just starting with a normal kind of art journaly kind of technique of covering the page with some texture and sealing it in with the gel medium. So now I'm using some tulle. So this uses a bit of the liquid gel medium to stick down because it is a bit folded and creased and whatnot. So just getting that on there, on. So as you can see, I've got a lot of dilution paints on the side there. I've just pulled out some of the light pastel colours, some of the new colours, but also some of the bright pinks and a bright blue to go with it. I figured those colours go really nice together, and as you'll see soon, I'll show you them all, the containers upside down, so you can see what they look like together before I start painting. So pretty soon I'll decide that my canvas is full enough with texture background, and we will move on, I would assume. But yeah, pretty much going with the flow. It's pretty easy to do. So here are my paint colours. Some of them are the new ones and some of the are older ones. If you'd like to have a look at what the colours are, just let me know, and I'll pop answer in the comments below. But off the top of my head, there was custard and lilac and cherry pie and, oh goodness, lots of colours. So I'm just using a baby wipe to adhere my paint on. I didn't want to use a paintbrush and get it all thick or strokes or neatness or anything like that. Baby wipe gives you that bit of flexibility to dab it on like this, to brush it on, to wipe it off, to thin it out, to leave it on thick, however you want to go. So once again, this is just, freedom with paint, with art, just dabbing it on where I feel I'd like to put it. And sometimes the beginning is the hardest because it's just blank and you want to put colour everywhere, but as you go along and the colour gets more and more, it's quite easy to add where you think it needs to go. But, the good thing is you can add colour and you can go over top of it, next to it, beside it, change it up as you're going, and just enjoy the process. So using a wipe obviously is quite fun. It's quite dirty and quite easy and quick to put paint on. Like, if you haven't tried it, I recommend trying it for sure. So as you can see, you can still see the paper, music paper behind the paint. You can see that texture underneath coming through, and it's just pretty cool to see. Like, some you can have paint thick and thin, just adding that, that textured layer to the paint, and adding the colour to the layers of the canvas. So things like this, it as easy as it is just to add a layer of texture and there a layer of paint, it actually looks like it takes you forever because there's so much detail just from those two steps. So the texture and the lace and the thickness and the thinness of the paint and the blotchy techniques or the stroke techniques, whatever you do, adds a very different feel to every part of the layout. I keep calling it a layout because I'm so used to talk about scrapbooking pages. It's actually canvas. I guess it's a type of layout, but I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about when I say layout the million times that I've probably already said it, and the 1,000,001 that I'll continue to say it. So more pink because pink is awesome, and I got quite a few shades of it, so it's always nice to add it all in. Good thing about dabbing it, as you can see up the top there with that pink and purple, is it gives up that edge, the softness to the edge, so that it's not just harshly stopping as it blends into the blue tissue paper there. And because of the coloured tissue paper and the paper background, you don't have to, well, I didn't have to cover the whole background because the tissue paper will fill in some of those gaps. But you can, if you do, it still gives you that texture from underneath as well. So it's really whatever you feel like doing. It's one of those things that you pretty much just go for it and you can't stuff it up because you can just do it however you want. It's just abstract. It's just putting it, paint onto it, the texture, and enjoying what happens. And really, the more techniques you put on it, the more layering, the more cohesive a layout the canvas becomes. So adding some blue, trying to cover up some of that pink up the top because all of a sudden my layouts become very, very pink. Lots of shades, but very pink. But as you can see, there's about 12 colours that I'd like to add to my layout. And sometimes when you start and you're not too sure, you don't feel that you could get a balance right, maybe starting with 3, 4, 5 colours and having blending those colours in will make it less overwhelming and it make it feel more cohesive quicker if you are worried about that. But definitely try this kind of thing out. You could do it on a scrapbooking layout, an art journal page, anything. You can do it on canvas like I am, obviously. And it's just the process of it. So it's actually really fun. I had no idea where I was going to store this, where I was going to put it. And still, I have no idea what, at this stage of painting and creating, I had no idea what I was going to do. Just every now and then I use about 3 colours, 2 to 3 colours on a wipe, and then I get a new wipe. It just depends on the colours, how they're blending, how much I've put on the page, and therefore put on the wipe. So as you can see, this cherry pie pink colour, some of them are using strokes to get on the canvas. Oh my goodness, my word. And others are dabbing it on with the wipe to get that colour on. So this purple just needed some extra paint because it was just too thin for my liking, and I just needed a little bit more in some other places. Of course, it is a nice colour. Wouldn't mind a little bit darker shade of purple, but it's surprising that we have purple, seeing it is pretty rare in scrapbooking circles. But yeah, so those new dilution colours are so nice. Here's one of them called something custard. Vanilla custard, maybe? Oh goodness. There's just too many names to remember. All of a sudden I have too many dilutions that I can't even, I've got them in one of those storage zipper pouches and I can't close it now. Because there are just too many and I can't fit them in the drawer that I had them in. Once again, there's just too many. So this part is where I decided when I was drying it with my heat tool that I could see the edge of that lace part was coming up. So I figured I could bring it up and it would look like it'd give you that texture to the background. So the first piece there is, I remembered as I was pulling it up, was covered with tissue paper. So I couldn't pull that up, so I cut some of it off, but I could pull some of it. Down the bottom I pulled it up, and yes, it did pull some of the paint tissue paper off, but it actually gives it a cool effect regardless. So pulling off the tulle, and it just makes it look like it was meant to be. And I'm just double checking, and then I'm like, yeah, that's right. Tissue paper there, it is stuck, and it still gives me that cool texture. So you can leave it on there, you can take it off. If you plan ahead and you want to take it off, maybe don't glue it down so liberally, so that it can come up a bit easily. But just using my wipe to blend out anything that I feel I need to. So diving into my little book here of the Katie Mixed Media stencils. So just a reminder, you get one of those sample cards with every stencil that you purchase, and if you buy 10 or more stencils, you get that really cool album that you can store them in. It is so convenient. I just have it on my shelf next to my tiny words and my enamel dots and my art gels, because that's how much I have been using it lately. So I just pulled out my spatula and my Stack Stone stencil, because that's what week it is, and my Heidi Swap modelling paste. So I've got a gold one, a pink one, and a beautiful blue teal one. I actually have a silver one as well, but I don't think I use it on this layout. Gold and silver aren't always one of those things that you want to use. So just putting them on, if the colours mix, it's pretty cool, because as you can see underneath, the colours are blending and mixing everywhere, so it just adds to the feel of the layout. Just moving the stencil and putting the colours on, mixing it up a bit, moving it around, changing it up. Well, that one was very straight, was it? But you can't, other than the fact that you could tell when I put the stencil down, you can't really tell when you're looking at the layout. It just looks like it's meant to be. So, nice and quickly, well, the power of video, quickly. And as you can see, just lifting it up to see that different angle, to see if there was anything else that it was working the way I was thinking. So on it goes. I'm just using my Sharpie here. It's a thick kind of Sharpie rather than the thin one. Going over the stencil, drawing in the stencil. Adding some of the darkness. And on it goes. So this Sharpie is really cool. It's my new favourite journaling Sharpie, and it goes on all kind of textures like this, and hopefully it stays like that because I don't want it to break. I just got that one from Woolies, but I'm sure many shops have it. So just moving my canvas around, sorry that you're out of frame there, as I go, because it's a bit easy to spatula on things by leaning over, but when you're drawing you need to be close to what you're doing. So just using a felt tip kind of a marker. It's a Stabilo one, but it's felt tip rather than fine tip, and it's a pink obviously, because we need more pink. Just looking at my pen stash at what else I could get. So this is a cheap paint marker from the cheap dollar shop. It's a bit thin, this blue, so I figure I'll just do some paint splatters. It actually works much better as paint splatters, those paint pens, but they are really cool, so paint splatters are a win in my eye. So just using the pink here. Same deal. From the cheap dollar shop for a couple of bucks. And they work perfectly. Oh, and I'm onto the yellow now. So as you can see, putting those ink splatters on gives it another layer, which means it blends in rather than looking like the modelling paste is just stuck on top and it's abstract to it. It actually makes it part of the background, part of the layers. Just using my Uniball Signo white pen and doing some more stencil work, looking around, what could I do? Now using my purple Stabilo texture pen. Pretty much, like you can see that I'm just not thinking too much, just grabbing, putting it on, plonking it there, plonking it over there, putting some ink splatters wherever I like, and it just makes it so cohesive just by randomly placing things, layering it up, making it look like it's not just sticking on top, that it's underneath, that it's over top, it's got depth. So this is my paint pen, my Dilutions paint pen. I've got a white one and a black one, and I cannot get them to work other than ink splatters. I don't know why. If you have any tricks, let me know, but lucky they do at least do ink splatters, because I think I'd be sad if they did nothing, because it would, well, I would be sad because it'd be a waste of money. And there's my black one. So that's cool because it actually gives, it's not see-through or anything, it's nice thick kind of inky black, rather than if I use my black spray mist, it would be it's pretty thin as it dries, but it dries pretty fat, I was going to say, pretty thick, so that you can see the colour. So just doing some little dots everywhere with this pink paint pen. Thought that would be a nice detail to add to it, so that when you look at the canvas you can see, you know, every little square of it is different to the next square of it. Different colours, different textures, different patterns, different going on. So using my yellow paint pen to do the same, some dots, and my blue one. Obviously the blue one wouldn't be seen because it's pretty light, that paint pen. So I'm just thinking about where I'm going. Dot 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 dot. Put some more, add some more ink splatters, good measure. What have I got? Oh yeah, so this is my gold pit pen. I'm just putting some dots everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but you know what I mean. And here I go with some crosses. And on they go. I started with plus signs and then I moved to the crosses. I thought that was more just go with the flow kind of thing rather than the crosses. No, yeah, the crosses. No, the plus signs. The crosses is what I'm doing. The plus signs is what I started doing. Anyway, so now I grab my black pit pen. So pretty much I just go into Ecclesies every now and then and just look at the pens, and I might get one every now and then. And that's how I ended up with this gold and this black Faber-Castell pit pen. So you can see I'm not even holding the pen very well. Just loosely crossing, doing what I feel like here and there, putting it wherever I want. I'm not measuring it out, you know, not spreading it out or anything like that. Just going with the flow. Put some purple ones here, there and everywhere. And actually, I'm just being a little bit careful because I didn't dry my modelling paste, although the Heidi Swap one doesn't take too long, but it can be quite tacky. So I am doing them over top of the modelling paste because otherwise it would just make it stand out like it wasn't part of the layers. But I'm just being careful that I'm not always doing the modelling paste, and if I am I get a lot on it, to wipe that pen dry so that I can continue using my pen in the future. So what have I gone to get now? My white Uniball pen again. Adding some dots. It's so cool. So how easy is it? Everyone can do crosses, everyone can do dots. You don't have to be able to draw or anything like that. You can easily get away with some fun little doodly kind of things and make it look awesome. So go for it. You know, like, creativity is really about the process and about having fun. Even if you don't like the end product, usually you've had fun getting messy, experimenting, trying new techniques, practicing older techniques that you like, things like that. So even if you get to the end of something and you're not too happy, just reflect on that, give it a bit of time, and you might think of something to easily fix it up, or you might just paint over it and start again. Neither of those process and ways are wrong. They actually are quite awesome and fun. So definitely get in and just give it a shot. So using my Uniball pen to add some white marked stack stones from the stencil, adding some more white over it. It's starting to blend in a bit. So I needed some white to bring it out. Trying to make my pen work. Still in vain that I'm, think that it's going to work, but could live in hope. So I got to this part and I was wondering what I could do. I looked on Pinterest for a quote that was something about stacked stones or stacked, and I found this lovely quote from Dr. Seuss. So fill your house with stacks of books in all the crannies and all the nooks. So it's quite fun. So I'm just using five different alphabets just to add to the eclectic look of the background, and just putting them willy-nilly, no pattern, just working out what I've got, what I feel would go with that word. And it's actually a really cool way to do it because some of the alphabets didn't have S's or E's, but it made it work by randomly placing it around like this. So after this is what I finish off with. I add this title or this quote with these stickers, add a bit more ink splatters over top to make that blend into the background rather than sticking out on top. Oh, and I also use some gel medium to stick those down, just brushing it over top to keep them secure, and then my canvas is finished. So definitely check out Katie Mixed Media's Etsy shop because you need to get your hands on these stencils. There is a wide variety would be what I would be trying to tell you, in her shop, and they are just awesome Aussie made products by an Aussie lady who's just wanting to give you all these lovely goodies if you're interested to purchase. So definitely get your hands on them because they will be an awesome part of your collection. Definitely make an order and buy yourself a Christmas present, wrap it up and say it was from your husband or your children, however, whatever works for you and your household, and get creating because you won't be disappointed with the designs of these stencils and the awesome sample card that you get to inspire you. So I'm just finishing off this title, this quote. Isn't it funny? I just revert to the words that are all about the layout. It's like a title, but really it's a quote. So I did write that word with one lot of stickers, and then I went back in and mixed it up because I figured it just stood out to my eyes. And as you can see, some of the words are easy to read depending on what angle you are at, and some are harder. But that just adds to the coolness and the depth of the background. So here we go with the gel medium, gluing them down. And you can put them underneath if you're sure that's where you want to put them, but I figure I'm going to put enough on top that it will stick it down. And really the background's not that dry that it's not going to be a little bit sticky as well. It's just it's so fun. I'm so glad I'm on the design team because I get to challenge myself, and this is the second week I've just gone, okay, this is the stencil, this is my loose idea in terms of I want to do a canvas or an art journal page, and this is what I've been coming up with, these great things that I'm just so proud of because of how inspired I am by the stencils that Katie has made. So thank you, Katie, and thank you all for watching, especially if you stayed in for this long video. I'll catch you all next time and we'll have fun together. Thank you for watching. Bye.